huge night for North Mississippi, the first visit in years by a sitting U.S. president and just weeks before the pivotal November elections. Good evening, I'm Richard Ransom.
And I'm Katina Rankin. A lot happening at this hour ahead of tonight's major event. Local 24 News has live team coverage of the presidential visit from the preps inside the Landers Center to the anxious crowds. But first, a live look at Air Force One. There you see it right there, landing at the Air National Guard or getting ready to in southeast Memphis. The president will be touching down shortly. You can see a live shot right there, waiting for Air Force One to land. President Trump will then be escorted down to the Landers Center. That will be for that Make America Great rally again. And people have been lining up all day. The president actually stumping in support of Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, who's fighting for a U.S. Senate seat. The Republican Party is desperately trying to keep. There it is, Air Force One coming in to the Air Force Base right there.
Absolutely, right there at Memphis International, and of course the escort begins to the Landers Center, and there's also some pre-parties planned as well. Well, here's how the race breaks down right now. Hyde-Smith, who was appointed to temporarily fill the seat of retiring Senator Thad Cochran, faces a tough challenge from two other candidates. Let's show them to you. Democrat and former Clinton administration Agriculture Secretary Mike Espy, as well as Republican State Senator Chris McDaniel. Democratic Tupelo Mayor Jason Shelton is currently trailing well behind in the polls. If elected, Hyde-Smith would be the first woman elected to represent Mississippi in Congress, or Espy would become the first African-American senator from the Magnolia State. Now, if no candidate gets at least 50% of the vote on November 6th, that will force a November 27th runoff between the two with the most votes. The Senate currently has 51 Republicans, meaning if they lose 2 seats, Democrats could control the chamber next year.
Yeah, and while the main event gets underway in less than 2 hours from now, the mood, it's already set.
Doors set to get closed inside at capacity because once the place fills up, that's when they shut them. When he arrives, the president is expected to meet with local supporters at a private event before the rally. Local 24 News reporter Brad Broders begins our live team coverage with a look at what's happening inside the Landers Center right now. Brad?
Good evening, Richard and Katina. The Landers Center starting to fill up. You can see behind me a lot of the general admission seats are on the floor in front of the podium, starting to fill up this hour. President Donald Trump will be the second sitting president to speak here at the Landers Center following George W. Bush in 2003 in his 18-year-old building. Now, as you just mentioned, Richard and Katina, President Trump stumping tonight for Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, really hoping that his support backing Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith in this race can propel her to above 50%, that vote that she needs. But a new poll released today shows of those 4 candidates you just mentioned, none of them are polling at more than 25%. In fact, that poll also showed more than a quarter of those polled are undecided. So certainly the likelihood of a runoff very much in play. Senator Donald Trump hoping to show his Mississippi supporters to back Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and avoid that runoff. Now, in addition to his support for Senator Hyde-Smith, President Trump also expected tonight to continue to press his support for embattled Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. In the last week, there was that emotional testimony from Dr. Christy Blasey Ford, as well as other allegations about his past dating back to high school and college. That nomination very much in doubt right now in the U.S. Senate. So he really wants to rally his base and show that he's still behind Brett Kavanaugh. In addition, President Donald Trump, this is just his second visit to the Magnolia State since his inauguration. But again, to recap right now, Landers Center really filling up. The music's pumping. People are excited as the president should speak sometime in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. For now, reporting live at the Landers Center in South Haven, Mississippi, Brad Broders, Local 24 News.
All right, thank you, Brad. One more time, we want to show you the picture live from Memphis International Air Base, where the Air Guard is also located. Air Force One arriving in Memphis, a sight you don't see too often around here. In fact, one of the last times that I can remember was when President George Bush landed along with the Prime Minister of Japan, and they took a tour of Graceland and went to the Civil Rights Museum and even had a little barbecue. But right now, President Trump is the man of the hour right now landing at the Air Guard base, which also doubles as Memphis International Airport. As you know, both facilities share the runways there, and he will be getting closer to where the cameras are located, and then he will deplane with whoever he's brought with him. Usually you'll find members of the Tennessee congregation, congressman or governor. I wouldn't be surprised to see them deplane, maybe one of the two Republican U.S. senators as well. A lot of times they will come and accompany the president on trips like this. We'll keep an eye on the situation there at Memphis International and show you more pictures of Air Force One, a beautiful plane, as the evening progresses. Well, traffic already causing trouble in the area around the Landers Center. If you're not attending the rally, best to avoid the area altogether. I-55 is shut down right now in both directions from Pleasant Hill Road to I-240 until 5:30. It will close again from 7:30 to 8:15 once this rally is over. John is on double duty tonight to track the traffic and alternate routes for us. John?
All right, thanks a lot, Richard. Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare if you're headed down that way. Here's I-55 right here, and as Richard was just talking about, there are the closures right there and the times for you. Here's I-55. The Landers Center is right in here, so Church Road, Highway 51, that'll be an absolute nightmare. You can go down Highway 61 to 269 if you're headed south on I-55, and then just continue to head south. So that's one option. You could also go, but I actually wouldn't go Highway 78 to 302 and down that far. I would go Highway 61 to I-269. That way you'll miss everything. Yeah, is that going to take longer? Of course, than it otherwise would. But if you get stuck in that, headed down 55, or folks coming in town also from 55, it's going to be a real mess. Again, Church Road in here, here's Highway 51, and if you've got people that are coming in town, you need to tell them that I-55 is going to be shut down in both directions, so it's going to be a big deal. I'll tell you more about this heat and when it will finally shut down coming up in a few minutes.
All right, and there you have it. We've been telling you all afternoon since 5 o'clock, the newscast began, that Air Force One has landed. You see it docked there. We're waiting for the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to get off that plane, where there will be a lot of festivities for him. We are told that the President's motorcade is waiting nearby. You see the American flag there on Air Force One, and we will continue to bring you live pictures and photos of what's happening in real time right here on Local 24 News at 5. In the meantime, I want you to know that supporters, they started waiting at the crack of dawn to see the President. Local 24 News reporter Rudy Williams, he was there as those crowds actually grew larger, and he continues our team coverage now. He is live from outside of the Landers Center. Rudy, tell us what's there.
Hey, good evening, Katina. Well, the doors opened around 3 o'clock p.m. this afternoon, and people are still filing into the Landers Center. We ran into some pretty enthusiastic and passionate Trump supporters while we've been out here this evening. People who travel from all over Mississippi to be at this rally. Take a look at this video shot earlier today. Many in this crowd have been standing in the warmer than usual October heat for hours now, and the president has yet to even arrive here in South Mississippi. He's coming in from an appearance in Pittsburgh earlier this afternoon. Now, when we asked why most were here, the response was that they believe this president could make America great again. Of course, a rallying cry for the administration and the campaign. For most, this is a first-time MAGA rally, and they came here to support Trump, whether they fell in Senate candidate Cindy Hyde-Smith or Chris McDaniel's camps. Listen.
I expect to hear Make America First and Make America, continue to make America great again. I think he'll support the border wall. We need to get that confirmed. We need to get Judge Kavanaugh confirmed. There's a long list of things that President Trump are trying to do to put America first in the world, and I think that's needed.
What we're expecting is our president, who we support fully 100%. He's doing just a fantastic job at making America great again. And what we need to send to Washington, D.C. are more strong conservatives who is going to work with the president.
Well, there you have it there. Now, standing out here this evening at the Landers Center, we didn't see very many protesters on hand, but we'll be here through the rest of the evening. Reporting live from South Haven, I'm Rudy Williams, Local 24 News.
Okay.
Thank you, Rudy. All right, stay with Local 24 News to bring you full coverage of the president's visit tonight. Be sure to watch a live stream of his speech on localmemphis.com and our mobile app.